Right, so as you can see from the background, we've got a bit of a different video today. I'm still going to be dropping my life lessons, but I was out fishing and I thought this would be pretty great to, add some more flair, add some more uniqueness to the content, make it stand out a bit more. And hopefully I can get this all set up in a way where you're able to get a good view of what I'm doing over here, as well as being able to, properly hear me. But with all that rambling out the way, let's really get into the discussion of what today's about. I've realized that in life, we're all kind of chasing things. Like we're all after something. There's something in life that we want, whether that be a relationship, whether that be a person, whether it be a certain amount of money, house, whatever your thing is. We all want something. And when you keep chasing that thing, in a way, it's kind of reaffirming to the universe that you do not currently have it. So when we're saying, oh, I hope and pray that I get this money, or I hope and pray that I find this man or this woman, or that this job hires me, in a way, you're kind of saying to the universe that I do not have it right now. You're speaking from a sense of lack and scarcity. And the reason that came to my mind was that when I'm out fishing, I just kind of think about how we're all after something. It's like we're all fishing, but not necessarily for fish. We're just casting out there, doing our best to make sure something bites. And when something does bite, we try our absolute hardest to keep it on the hook, regardless of whether or not it is the thing we want. I'm trying to do my best to put my thoughts into words right now, which is ironic to say given that I have this speech coming up this Saturday, actually, where I'm going to be speaking about giving an award to someone, helping out with the community, all that good stuff, which I love to do. It's just sometimes I'm shocked. Like sometimes I'm shocked that, wow, Lawrence, this is really your life. Like this is really what you do. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. I think the term for it is imposter syndrome. But for me, it's not necessarily that I feel like, oh, I'm not good enough for this or that I don't deserve this. It's more like, oh, like I am just amazed. I'm shocked. Like, wow, Lawrence, you really pulled this off. And a lot of time when I'm out fishing, I get a similar feeling to that too. Because like, wow, Lawrence, you really pulled up that thing. You was able to cast it out right. You was able to really do what you had to do to make things happen. You knew how to position yourself. You knew how to, you know, move your arms. You knew how to do what you had to do to get what you wanted out of life. And for me, fishing is like a giant metaphor for life because it teaches you patience, resilience, determination, strategy. It teaches you a whole lot. And it also teaches you about the importance of just community, which might sound a little strange given that I'm out here fishing by myself. But a lot of time when I'm out fishing, there'll either be other people fishing or, a little kid might come up and they want me to teach them, which is something that happened to me last Saturday when I was fishing and this kid runs up and he's like, hey, can you teach me how to fish? So I'm teaching them, I'm showing them how to do everything. And I have two rods with me like all the time. So in case somebody wants me to teach them, I can show them with the one I'm holding and they can practice on the other one. And I think that's really beautiful. We need to go back to, just doing things to the community like that. Helping encourage kids, show them what's possible for themselves, give them a sense of fulfillment and achievement. Because So often we live in a world where we're just bombarded with, oh, this person has a bigger house than you. This person has a flashier car than you. This person has more money than you. They have more status. They're taller. They're this. They're that. And when we're living our life from the perspective of what we don't have, we never get to really sit back and take note of what we do have. Like, it's a blessing to just be here. It's a blessing to wake up in the morning, regardless of what your circumstances, because I know everybody's going through problems. I know some people dealing with divorces, some people's parents are dead, some people are going through breakups and, you know, a whole lot of things. Stillborn baby. A lot of people are going, well, let me correct that. Miscarriage. The proper term for what I'm saying is miscarriage. But you get the point I'm saying. A lot of people are going through problems out here. And I don't think that we should run from a problem per se. More that we need to learn to understand them, become integrated with them, and realize that everything in life has two sides to it. Right now it's sunny, but I know there's going to come a day when it's going to rain. Right now it is summer, but there's going to become winter. And right now I might be 18, but there's going to come a day when, God willing, I make it to 95. And I go from young to old. I go from baby to child to teenager to adult, senior, and then dead. But I don't even believe in death. It might sound weird, but I do not believe in death in the way that people describe it. I believe that your body can die, but you as the individual, you as the unique manifestation of God cannot. Because you are like a fragment of the universe. You are a piece of infinity. And the thing about infinity is it is infinite. And I know that might be a little hard to wrap your head around, but just think of it like a tree. A tree grows from a seed, and then it creates acorns. And then those acorns create more trees and more trees and more trees, and on and on and on. So if you were to take a tree, you could track it back to an acorn that came from another tree. And what seems like an individual, what seems like just this one person, this one individual going through a problem, is actually a part of the bigger picture of reality. It's a part of the all. It's a part of just the infinite possibilities of the universe. And I think that's honestly beautiful because it means that you will live on. And I'm not even sure exactly how my mind is just doing this, but I'm just going off train of thought. Like, you guys are hearing my raw, unfiltered thoughts. There's this turtle right there, and I'm really trying to get him. But back to the main point. We all need to take times where we can just relax. And I don't mean relax like sitting on your couch watching Netflix and eating hot Cheetos. I don't mean that type relax. I mean the kind of relax where your soul feels rejuvenated. The kind of relaxing where you feel at peace. Like, man, I could do this all day, all night. The kind of relaxing where you just are at peace. And sadly, very few people ever get to, truly experience that. And I think that's by design. Like, I really think that is by design, because if more people could truly understand what I'm saying, like truly understand the level of peace and abundance and prosperity that already exists within yourself, we start chasing a whole lot less. Like, so much of the world is built around the idea that you do not have what you need to have. So much of our reality is just built on that. And I think that's a huge problem, because how do you expect to feel happy? How do you expect to feel fulfilled, at peace, love yourself, accepted? How do you expect to feel all these wonderful feelings if first you don't even have the idea in your mind that this is possible? How do you expect to get to that point if you just don't even feel connected with yourself? And often we are so taught to just not even feel that connection with ourselves. Like, it's genuinely a huge problem, because if you can't be alone with yourself and just understand that you are everything you need, not in the sense that you should, lock yourself away, be a hermit, and never talk to people. No, that's not what I'm saying. I mean that you're all you need, in the sense that you are complete. You do not need somebody else to make you feel whole. You do not need somebody else to make you happy. You do not need somebody else to tell you who you are. All you need is a connection with yourself and a connection with God, Spirit, Universe, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is that you believe in. As y'all know, I don't push any particular ideology. I simply push loving yourself, having a moral code you live by, and ultimately living your most fulfilled life. That's what my whole program is about. That is what I preach. Even though I do not claim to be a preacher, I am not a religious figure. Okay? I am not your prophet. I am not your Jesus. I'm not your Allah, your Buddha. I ain't none of that. I am a dude who likes going fishing and talking. Pretty much that's what I am. Okay? I ain't holier than thou. I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. I ain't claiming to be anything. Oh my gosh, is that a turtle? I am not claiming to be anything, you know, absolutely revolutionary, okay? I am simply who and what I am. Oh yeah, that is definitely alive. Let me line up for that. I am simply who and what I am. I ain't claiming to be anything outside of who and what I am. I am what I am, and Lawrence is who and what I am. You know, that's the best way to put it. Let me get a little closer and see that. Like, is that really alive? Because that thing is massive. Yeah, y'all, I gotta take a little moment to inspect this. Because if that's alive, I gotta catch that. Oh yeah, that thing is huge. Oh yeah, that is alive. Most definitely. Alright, how am I gonna get that? Because that's. Hmm. Yeah, let me throw like a lot more worm on this, because that is a huge, like, that is gargantuan right there. But back to the point. I'm not ever claiming to be, some holier than thou individual. I'm not claiming to say that I am the end all be all. Everything I have done and everything I continue to do can be done by you. And that's something I try to get people to understand. Like, I'm not, yes, I am a very talented and dedicated person. Yes, it took me years to get to this point. However, that does not mean that you can't do it too. In fact, I try my absolute best to encourage people to understand that they can. Okay? Anything else that someone has done, unless it was like a miracle talent, like they are 9 foot tall and, you know, because they're 9 foot tall, they were able to, I guess, dunk a basketball some like crazy amount. Anything that is like a skill based ability that someone else did, you can too. Okay? You can do what someone else was capable of. Not to say that you should want to be that person. Not at all. That ain't what I'm preaching. That ain't what I'm saying. What I am saying is that you are capable of becoming something that matters in this world. In fact, you already are someone and something which matters. The problem, however, is that so often we're taught that we're not. We're told that we aren't. And as children, we don't really have that. I guess the best way to describe it is the understanding of self worth and self value. We don't really have that just coded into us. We got to be shown it. And more often than not, we're shown the complete opposite. We're shown people who don't understand themselves, people who don't truly respect themselves, trying to tell us what to be, what we are, and who we are. And you can't blame people for showing you the wrong thing when they themselves were shown the wrong thing. You just have to understand that everything that people do, which we think, oh, this is such a terrible person, for all we know, that could be like a cry for help from them. Or it could just be the fact they don't know. Like, you can't blame someone for not knowing something. I mean, there's certain things, but yeah, let me try to see. Let me try to pull that up. Oh no, that's just a giant like bag. False alarm, that was not a massive turtle. But back to the point. You can't really blame somebody for not knowing something because they weren't taught it. Like, I would never blame a child for not knowing algebra because they never got taught algebra. I would never do that. So it's kind of hard to, grasp, but there's points in time when we have to understand that people who may have hurted us were hurt themselves. And hurt people hurt people. It's a cycle that just keeps going on and on and on. And you can't blame a hurt person for hurting you. I know you wanna. Like, understandably, if somebody was, you know, treating you badly, talking behind your back, and all this other stuff, it's completely understandable that, you'd want to retaliate. It's completely understandable. However, just because something is understandable and just because it sounds like it can be rationalized does not mean that we should do that. It does not mean that it is the best course of action to start hurting other people because someone hurt you. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand that if you become hurt and you go around hurting other people, all you're doing is spreading the very same cycle which held you down. You're becoming the thing which you promised to not be by hurting others. And I'm not saying that I had the most, intense situation with that, But I did have plenty of people throughout my life who, understandably, people told me it's completely like logical if you were to, go be violent back to that person. However, I personally came to realize that fighting violence with violence is not the answer. You can't burn out a fire with fire. That just doesn't work. The only solution that I think is good for me, at least, is understanding that yes, if someone put their hands on you, you have a right to defend yourself. If someone threatens you with a weapon or something of that sort, you have a complete right to defend yourself and get the police involved in that. But if someone is simply, insulting, throwing words and whatnot, that's where you have to learn to not be the bigger person out of some kind of moral superiority, but rather to be the bigger person because you understand that they don't know. Like, they don't know the true impact of their own actions. And some people do. Some people do know exactly what they're doing, and they want to hurt people. There are people like that. However, even for those people, you have to understand that somewhere, somehow, they're not right within themselves. They're not right within their soul. They're not right within their heart. And when someone isn't right within themselves and they're not right within their soul, you can't be surprised when they're not right to others and they're not, the kind of caring and loving embodiment of God, which they truly are, but they choose not to be. Or they were never taught that they're that. So because they don't know their own potential, they don't know their own greatness, they want to stifle the greatness of others. They want to tear others down. They want to belittle those who feel less than. They want to make people hurt because they themselves are hurt. And like I said earlier, hurt people hurt people. The damage that they inflict upon others is ultimately the damage that they feel have been inflicted upon them. And in a backwards way, they think that by hurting other people is going to heal themselves. When in reality, all that does is continue the cycle of hatred. And by continuing that cycle of hatred, it only breeds more hate. You cannot create love out of hate. You need to learn how to love those who hate themselves. And you cannot make somebody love themselves per se, but what you can do is help them to at least see the possibility of loving themselves. Now, I'm not saying that you're able to change them. I'm not encouraging you to try and change people. I've made multiple videos explaining how you cannot change people. All you can do is try your best to steer them in the right direction. And that's honestly what I try to do with these videos. Like, I'm not trying to change any of you. I'm not trying to make any of you become something you're not. In fact, I'm trying to make you become who you truly are, what you truly are, an authentic manifestation of the God which you believe, the higher power which you believe in. I'm not telling you to believe in what I believe in. I'm simply giving my thoughts. And you're allowed to take what you want from my thoughts, listen to certain parts but not others, agree with me on certain points but not others. You're allowed to have your own unique relation. You're allowed to be your own individual while also understanding that on the deepest level, the way that you affect yourself affects others. If you live in a house and you're blasting music all night, even though you might enjoy the action, it has a negative impact on the larger group. It has a negative impact on the other people you live with. And over time, if you keep neglecting other people and you keep neglecting the group you're a part of, whether that be friends, family, relationships, whatever it is that your group is, if you continue to neglect them and make them feel unvalued, sooner or later, they're going to make you feel unvalued because that's what you're doing to them. I gotta sit this phone down so I could, pack up my stuff and move to a different spot. But ultimately, if you keep hurting others, you only breed more hate. And the more hate that is out there, the less common it will be to find those people who want to love you. Because you cannot outrun what you are. Let me repeat that. You cannot outrun what you are. If you are someone who constantly hurts others, constantly puts people down, make them feel less than, make them feel unworthy, treats people like nothing, don't be surprised when that very same energy comes back to you. Because what you put out there is what's going to come back to you. It's like throwing a ball in the air. What you throw up must come down. And if you don't change what you throw up, then you're going to get hit with the very same object, the very same weapon, the very same hatred and negativity and toxicity that you decided to throw upon others is then going to rain down upon you. And I know that it's hard to do that because when we feel hurt, we want to hurt others. Like, that's the natural reaction of us. It's kind of like just, I'm going to do to you what you did to me. But one of the hardest things I had to accept was that a lot of people don't truly want peace, and they don't truly want the sense of, I guess, acceptance or fulfillment. I'm not really sure the best word to describe this, because it means that to have something different in your reality and on your side, you must treat others differently. Like, to have peace in your life, you must give peace to others. To have joy in your life, you must also be able to give that joy to others. And that's not to say go be a people pleaser and the only way for you to be happy is to make everyone else happy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, oh, there's a turtle right there. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit this like stuff down. Okay, yeah, you guys are gonna be listening to me on the floor because it's uh nah, I know a different spot where there's gonna be more of them. But back to what I was saying. To have something different in your reality, you must also be willing to give that to others. Like, there's so much online about just lone wolf, go your own way, don't care about nobody else. No, that's a huge problem because humans are by design social creatures. We need connection of some sort or another. Whether that be romantic connection with a significant other, whether that be community connection with friends, family, we need to feel something. And I know this was a long ramble, but I hope y'all enjoyed it.